Great. Thanks, Monica. So yeah, welcome then. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Gavin. I'm going to be your moderator. And this session today is about driving sustainability with a young workforce. It's brought to you by Fuel Change. And Fuel Change is an organisation which has created a challenge programme which tasks the next generation to find solutions to business problems. We run workplace challenges within workplaces, within schools and colleges. And we invite those participants to take on real world climate challenges. They collaborate on a solution and they present it. By truly engaging our next generation with a unique challenge programme, we essentially unearth talent and create the capacity, the resilience and the skills that are needed to address these immediate problems while positively invest in the future. So it's about proving sustainability as an opportunity and not a cost, and we'll go through that discovery and learning process this afternoon. So what I'd like to do is now just give you a steer on the housekeeping for today. As we go through the session, I'm going to invite you guys to type questions in as you go along, but we'll take the questions at the end. We've allocated a good 10 or 15 minutes towards the end of the session to field those questions through the chat. If you're going to want to ask a question, I'll just get you to put your hand up and we'll take those questions. Anything we don't manage to cover off today, we'll get back in contact with you. So this is really about capturing the feedback that you guys have got and collectively learning how we can tackle this journey together. Okay, so today there's 4 people from Fuel Change taking part in this discussion. There's myself. We're joined by David Reid, founder, co-founder and chief exec. Sarah here, our challenge programme coordinator, who you'll hear from. And then Bob Toos, who's our chief scientific officer. He's joining us as well. So we'll hear from a number of individuals as we go through today's session. So over the next 45 minutes, this session is about what we've learned over the last 2 years. We've worked with 115 companies across the United Kingdom with 1,500 participants across 15 challenges. So this webinar today is informed by those experiences. We want to share those experiences with you, but we also want to hear your questions. We also want to hear your thoughts and insights and make this a really constructive debate. So what I'm going to do now is hand over to David Reid, and he's now going to ask you guys to start with a question. Over to you, David.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted so many have turned up today. Looking forward to the next half an hour or so. What I want to do, as Gavin said, is this isn't about Fuel Change. Right? That just happens to be our vehicle that we've been running through for the past 2 years, which has been fantastic. We've really enjoyed it. But along the way, we've found so many things around business, so many things about our next generation. And some things that have surprised us, and some things actually we have learned enough to know we've made some errors and we've changed what we've done for a certain reason. The first question we're asking here, though, is, and I'm looking for you to be true to yourself here. When we ask the question, do business believe that sustainability is important? Then every business we speak to will say, yep, it's important. It's almost really important. We get extremely important quite often. But if I ask the question, is sustainability in your business urgent? That's a different question. Is it urgent? And by urgent, is it driving your business? Have you put it at the heart of your business to the point where all decisions you make have got that in mind? So where is it? Is it quite urgent to you? And for some businesses who are dealing with the day and daily struggles, is it not urgent at all? Might still be important, but is it truly urgent? So I see lots of answers. Many of them come up with A's. So I really want to join your company. Some B's in there. So dealing with businesses at the moment, I have to tell you, the majority of businesses that we're dealing with are saying it's important. We know it's important, but frankly, at the moment, it's not urgent. And I just want to explain why they're saying that and how that's coming about. So lots of Bs in there in particular. It's quite urgent. 2 years ago, if I'd asked this question, and thanks, Rob, for being honest, 2 years ago, I think most businesses would have said A, because we're all talking about climate change, we're all talking about sustainability. And it was extremely urgent. It's an emergency after all. So, if we just move on, thanks, Sarah. There has been, and I talk to lots of businesses, and I hear there's lots of times that there has been a deprioritization of sustainability, and frankly, I get it. And often we hear sustainability talked about in this manner. It's something around, it's part of ESG, it's part of social governance, it's part of social value. We'll do it because I'll pass you to your social value team, or we talk about net zero. We're not quite sure what net zero is. It's a cost, right? Sustainability is a cost, and I don't know why it's a benefit to me. It's a cost. I'll do it if I've got enough money to do it. And then lots of talk about green skills and green jobs. There's so much debate around this. And frankly, most businesses who really embrace this will just see every job as a green job, because it's part of what they do. It's part of what you do as a business. If we then turn to what businesses are faced with today, then these are some of the burning platforms that almost every business somewhere in this list will be dealing with. Some real issues of today. These are the things they face day in, daily. The cost of business is going up. We know about that. Energy crisis has been talked about ad infinitum, and it's real. One that's been around for now a couple of years is, a real lack of resource, lack of talent, talent retention issue, because people are moving about so much. There's just not enough people. When things like Brexit, and certainly the UK, made that even more the case. Burning platforms of procurement. We now have to prove that we're doing sustainability in procurement. How do we do that? Lots of SMEs are struggling with that concept. The other one has been attractive. Being attractive as a business, whether that be to prospective employees, or to clients. So how do you become attractive in a world which is really hard to differentiate? And also a real issue over supply chain disruption, whether that be resources, materials, or whether that be just deliveries, then supply chains are a real difficult. These are burning platforms. So to put sustainability back into a place where it is prioritised, then we need to move it from being in the left to being in the right. Right? If we can put it at the heart of businesses, because frankly, sustainability runs across all of these issues in the burning platforms, it can positively impact all of these issues on the right-hand side. And part of what we've been trying to do is help the young workforce drive it from a social value ESG type thing, which when companies are struggling and they've got a red pen and the CFO or whoever manages the finances wants to put it somewhere, often the pieces on the left get a red pen. The bits on the right don't, so we need to move it to the heart of business for it to really be driven and to be seen as an opportunity and not a cost. Let's just move to the next slide. Thanks, Sarah. So a question for you all here, and you can pop this in the chat, and this is something that we work with every day. Why have we chosen 16 to 24-year-olds is because most changes in society, most changes in culture come through two reasons. One is because regulation or a law comes in. So if you look at the smoking ban, if you look at seat belts, then that came through a law that said it's going to change, and it will change. Lots of other things, though, come because we want society to change, our businesses to change. And that generally comes a top-down view that, someone running businesses want things to change, but the real drive comes bottom-up. Like our next generation tend to be the ones that get it, and they will drive it bottom-up. And there's usually a Gunja layer in small business and big business. And I was part of the Gunja layer for long enough of inertia to change because it's difficult. It's different. So we've been working with lots of the next generation, and part of the reason we did that with fuel changes, we thought they were all bursting, absolutely bursting, to do something about climate change. When we got there, the answer to this one is actually 15%. Sarah, There you go, with the power of magic. So most people push back at me and said, no way, it's not 15%. The fact is, when you talk to the next generation, and we do this every day, is their reaction is, actually, climate change is a big worry to me. It's really important. I know it's a worry to me. I was born into a climate crisis, but the fact is, I can't do anything about it. I don't know how to do anything about it. It's for governments to deal with it. It's for my employers to deal with it. I don't know what to do with it because I can't make a difference. I'm just a speck of dust. So I'm not actually engaged in doing anything. But that's a reality, an absolute reality. And the reason we think it's more than that often is that 15% can be quite vocal. Those are the ones when you put out an email to them saying, who wants to be involved in this? They're all, yep, me. So they're the ones that give this veneer of we're all on it. The fact is, that's not the case. And not only have we proven that through what we've been doing, there's plenty of studies out there that says that. The fact is, we got this wrong. At fuel change, we got this wrong. We thought it was going to be 60 or 70%. So we've had to acclimatise to that and change our approach because of it. What they do say, though, is, I'll tell you what I'm really worried about, is I'm really worried about my future. I'm really worried about my job prospects. I'm really worried about my career. I'm worried about opportunities. I want a chance to get in front of the boss. I want to be promoted. If you look at Gen Zs and all of the work that's been done on them, their biggest thing is progress. They want to progress as quickly as they can through their work and their career, and they've got a real hunger to do that. So we've had to acclimatise to that, and part of today's webinar is just to share that with you, because that's what we face. And practically, this is, when we say sustainability, it doesn't always resonate. So we just talk about more. Sarah, you can maybe take the next piece. Thanks.
Yeah, so just to kind of build on what David said there, I think a lot of people think that people of my generation and my age are really on top of this, and it's what they really care about, and that sustainability is kind of at the core of everything they do. But in my experience, both in fuel change and externally from engaging with my friends, most people aren't. It's not the top of their priority. And I think the kind of older generation don't realize this. They think we're all really on it. I think the reason for that is people aren't really given a voice and a platform to be heard about, and to voice their opinions on climate change. We kind of feel like the older generation are dealing with it and that we can't really make an impact. And the way that we're taught about it is often in a very passive way. So it's through these kind of lectures or online e-learning platforms where you don't really feel like you're making a difference or having a say on real problems. So the way that we kind of take on that is we try and give young people more of a team working and experiential experience, basically, where they get to solve real problems that are set by real businesses. So they feel like they're having an impact on real life, not just some kind of abstract thing that they've become involved in, and also that they don't have to completely change their life to learn about it. So we do a little bit, but more often, so that they realize that it can be incorporated on a weekly basis into everything you do, and you can kind of gradually start changing your thinking. So you're not dramatically suddenly changing. You're basically, over a prolonged period, becoming more educated and changing the ways you view the world. So we focus on three kind of things: knowledge, which we believe is incredibly important and want to share with our people; creativity, so we really encourage them to come up with that blue sky thinking. Because young people, we like to think, aren't kind of bound by their experience. So they've not kind of got that experience of, well, this idea won't work because of X, Y, and Z. So they're able to think really big. And then we like to help them be more informed. So we partner them up with mentors and judges who are able to tell them how to make that idea a reality. And it's truly an amazing thing to see, because you see people really grasp that opportunity because they can really see how their voices can be heard. And then they really start to shine. So you have people kind of at the beginning of the program saying, oh, well, climate change isn't for me, doesn't affect my daily life, I'm not interested in it. And at the end of the program, they're, striving in their business, they're shining, they're presenting in front of whole people that they wouldn't have been able to do weeks before. And they really kind of get that sense of ownership over the idea that they come up with and develop over several weeks. They're also kind of held accountable by their employers. And we find that that's ones that really shine are when their employers kind of come on that journey with them and want to see exactly what they do. As David said, what we do find is you need to not lead with sustainability. You need to put how they take on this opportunity, they'll advance in their career and really go far. So David, I'll just pass back to you to kind of talk through more of the business side of it.
Sure, thanks, Sarah. So, part, I guess, of this webinar is again not about fuel change. If you're doing any programs back at the ranch, any businesses that are on here, I would absolutely invite you to think about some of these points. And we found, to our cost in some places, that what we were doing just wasn't hitting the mark. So this is about our learning and how we have developed. However, that doesn't get it all the way. It doesn't get it all the way because if it's not valuable to businesses, then it still doesn't happen. If we go back to the burning platform discussion, then the reason we need to move it from the left to the right is that it's then valuable to businesses today. Businesses are looking at issues today. So how do they fix their immediate problems? If they can do that at the same time as fixing some of the medium-term issues that they face around sustainability, then sustainability goes from being a cost, as lots of businesses think, to being an opportunity for a variety of reasons. And so some of the things that we've found, again, over the past couple of years working with businesses, and we've been really fortunate to work with some fantastic businesses who've been really open and honest and helpful with us. There are some things that have popped up as an opportunity to businesses that do impact the here and now, as well as the medium term. One of the biggest ones has been around bottom-up cultural drive, something I mentioned at the outset, that says if you get the next generation on it and they get it, and you ask them about their future, they'll drive sustainability up through the business. But the way we've done that is because we've engaged them first about their own careers, and they've seen being part of the sustainability piece is good for their careers, so they'll do more of it. And others in the business then say, why have they been promoted? I'm going to do that also. So you see the impact, the cause and effect of being involved. Another area for businesses is just changing a bit from where we were before, being in your silos, to moving out of it and creating problem solvers of the future. You'll get lots of issues in businesses, and there's as much chance of someone from the next generation coming up with a solution as there will be from the current generation. So creating problem solvers of now, not just the future, but of now, is an important opportunity piece. That confidence it takes to work in teams and be influential. It's hard as a younger person when you've got a point to make and you want to be an influencer. So giving them confidence to work in teams and the right time to get involved, and they don't need to shout from the rooftops, but they know how to participate, is an important part of how this becomes an opportunity for business. One of the biggest burning platforms we spoke about earlier for business is around unearthing talent and retaining your talent, and indeed attracting talent to your business. So when we talk about unearthing talent, one of the great things we've found over the past couple of years working with businesses and going through this process is they come back to us and say, we've found some people in our business I didn't know existed properly, and they've been fantastic. So let's do more of that, especially at a time when we're looking for talent, and some of it's actually right under our nose. And if we can put them in the right programs and give them the right opportunities, grab them at the peak of their powers, grab them at the point where they're the most voracious and they really want to do something, get them part of the business, and they'll drive the business forward from the bottom up and make sustainability that opportunity rather than the cost. Once they've done some of those things, then give them some of the barriers that you face as a business and say, solve it for me, right? Use them, but use them with the rest of the workforce. Bring in some of that, middle ground workforce and put them together and say, you understand how this works, understand how it solves some problems. So let's take some of these growth barriers away by having them work on it. And those barriers could be developing business. It can be energy costs that are facing us right now. How do we deal with them? There can be some of these burning platform issues. But the fact is, this can all be done through sustainability by firstly engaging them correctly and turning them to really valuable individuals. Thanks, Sarah. So we can turn back to Gavin now, just to talk about case studies.
Thanks, David. good stuff and some really great comments coming through in the chat. Appreciate everyone who's put some questions, and then we'll pick up some of those questions towards the end. There is several case studies that we've got from different organisations. One of the businesses that's on the line today from Booth Welsh is an organisation that's been through a process several times, and we thought one of the best ways to get a feel for the impact of involving the young workforce is to invite a business to tell us about their experience. So Caroline Collins joins us from Booth Welsh. And Caroline, I was just going to ask if you could say a few words about how you have seen involving the kind of next generation of workforce in your business has helped to drive sustainability across it, and what you've seen as a result. Thanks, Caroline.
Hi there. So certainly, recently we had our in-house fuel change challenge. The team have actually just presented their final solutions. The challenge that they set was to present options to reduce the cost of energy, and how as a business we can become more competitive and greener by making better choices. The team has, they kind of met each week, and they then presented as a team together with some great ideas to explore energy use within the organisation, and also how we can optimise it to become even more efficient with our approach going forward. And it was certainly great outcomes of this. And then that, that will certainly open, more projects to take that forward.
Thanks, Caroline. I appreciate you sharing that with us. So I think this would be a good time, David. We'll take a look at some of the remarks in the chat box, and then I'm going to ask you guys if you've got specific questions or just insights to share